Good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Jenny at Gemini Crafts on, let me see, Thursday. And it's rather blustery and damp here, although it's not currently raining. But we've had rain showers on and off all day. So I hope everybody is well. I'm just looking for it to pop up on my screen. See if I can get these comments sorted. They just take forever, don't they, to arrive. Right, it's not playing the game. Oh, there it is. We have life. Evening Jane, evening Moretta, hi Jeanette. Lovely to see you all, well, to have you join me. So if you've been following me this week, you'll know that I've been using the Jar of Flowers stamp set, which is this one here, and I've been teaming it with Tasteful Touches. Oh, I need to mute myself. Okay, so I teamed it with Tasteful Touches, and I've done various cards with one or other of those two, mainly featuring the Jar of Flowers, but this evening I'm going to switch to Tasteful Touches to do a one sheet wonder in the style of Ruth at Artful Stampin. So these were some of the cards that we've done earlier this week. So the Jar of Flowers with the shaker dome, and then just stamped and also punched out. So a change of scene. Hi Jane. So I'm going to do a stamped one sheet wonder. So I've already popped these stamps on my blocks in preparation, all the ones from Tasteful Touches. And this afternoon I had a delivery which included this new set, Celebrate Sunflowers, which I wasn't going to get, but I've seen so many nice designs with it. So I'm not going to use this, a lot of this today, but I thought I might use the leaves and I might use that little sunflower. So we'll see how we go. And the colours that I'm using have been inspired still by the in colours. So I've got Misty Moonlight, and I've got Bumblebee, that sort of rich brown, yellow even, and then I've got Cinnamon Cider. So I've got sort of three of the new in colours. I'll be using a little bit of Just Jade as well for the leaves. And it was inspired really by this piece of designer paper that goes with it, because I was looking at the yellow and the blue and the jade and how nice those three were going together. I've done a lot of pink this week, a lot of Magenta Madness cards. Hi Jen, hi Julia. So I thought it'd be nice to do something along the blue and the yellow lines this evening rather than the pinks, just for a change. We'll see how we go. So let me open these up in preparation. I have added Daffodil Delight and Early Espresso. So I'm just going to leave these at the side. I've got my chamois at the ready to wipe my stamps down. And I've also introduced Petal Pink And that's because if I bring this back, I don't know if you can see the background is actually pink, it's not white. Okay, so I'm going to use the pink to create a background. That's petal pink, nice soft pink. Right, let me open these up. So I'm going to do a fairly standard, am I going to do a cross formation? Ooh, tricky. Yes, I think I'll do a cross formation. So I'm actually going to start with the petal pink, like so, because I'm going to do that as the sort of background all over. I've also picked up the in colour enamel dots so that I can use those. Let's put those to one side. And I've got some card bases in the in colours at the ready. Right, let me just sort out a bit of space here. So I hope everybody has had a reasonable day. Hi Lynn. Oh, lovely. Excellent, Lynn. And she's having a real craft evening by Zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this little pattern. So it is designed to look slightly worn. I promise you, it's not my stamping. And all I'm going to do is effectively stamp all the way over this, just to put some, lay down some pink. You could actually, thinking about it, you could brayer the whole thing as well. That would be quite an effective thing to do. But I'm just going to use this stamp to change the white really to pink. If I use petal pink card, it would be too dark. And also, it's much nicer to stamp on Whisper White or Very Vanilla. So I'm hoping you can see that that's in your range. Let me just move this up so I know the whole thing is in sight without knocking all my stamps everywhere. Nearly. I've got stamps all the way around. Is that just about in? If I move that up a little bit, it will be, won't it? Okay, can you see all of that? Nearly, I think. There we go. Let me know if you if I start wandering off. Hello, Alison. Perfect. So all I'm going to do is just crisscross this design, really just all the way over the paper. I'm going to stamp off as well, although petal pink is quite light, so when you stamp off, you know, you can just about see it. But this just gives a really nice soft background to the paper. So if you find an A4 piece of paper a little bit too daunting, then you could start this off with an A5 piece and just do it in half and do a centre panel. But also by covering it over like I'm doing here, just something I know that Ruth definitely does, then it's almost like you've marked the paper, so it's less daunting. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. So just turning this round. So it's slightly monotonous for you watching this. I hope it's not zooming in and out too much. The other thing that would be good for this would be to use a background stamp. So for example, we have a new background stamp which does like a, it's called Dry Brush, and it's exactly that. It's like some, you know, a big brush stroke. So you could stamp that sort of 4 times on your piece of card and you'd have a, you know, beautiful brushed background. You'd want it fairly light, so you might need to stamp it off first. So when that one arrives with me, I'll give that one a go. Okay, so there is my background. So it gives it a softer look, just to start with. Hello, Marianne. Oh, what have I done to my hand? I'm afraid it's a dog bite. Completely accidental. I was playing with Cassie, my border collie, and playing ball, which she absolutely adores, and she went down to pick up the ball because I wasn't picking it up quick enough at the same time that I put my hand down, and she just bit me accidentally. My hand was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I know you have to be a bit careful with dog bites, so I spoke with the doctor, and they have a very good system that you can send. They send you a link and you can send photos in of what it looks like, and they just recommended for safety having some antibiotics. My tetanus is all up to date, so that was something. Okay, I meant to put plaster on it actually, so you didn't have to look at it. Now everybody will be looking for it, won't they? Okay, so I'm going to use this main flower as my main image, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it in our new Misty Moonlight. So this is like a light, soft navy. It's the best way I can describe it. Let me just try it out myself on the paper. Oh, perfect. It's a really nice stamp. It's another one of those that does, that's what it says. So I'm going to do a cross formation. So I'm going to start up here, and then I'm going to turn it round like so. I'm going to have some together. That looks nice actually. Petal Pink and Misty Moonlight, which I have to say I wouldn't have put those two colours together particularly. Let's put one on the edge there. And I'm just going to have some coming down here. Going to leave a gap for that one. Like so. Okay. Oh, I should have stamped some of those off as well, shouldn't I? Never mind. I'm going to start with that. And then I'm going to do some in Daffodil Delight, I think. I'm going to have a look and see. I might need to move to Bumblebee. So I'm still going to use the same stamp. So I want it filled in, and then I'm going to add all the other little bits and pieces. But you see what I mean? Like, it's a soft navy. Reminds me of a very popular colour, which was Dapper Denim, which is an in colour we had a couple of years ago. And I know a lot of people were really sad when it retired. And it reminds me a little bit of that, because it's just soft. Okay. Right, can you still see everything on the screen? All right, ladies. Oh, hi, Louise. Yeah, it was a bit ouch, everybody. Hi, Carol. Lovely to see you. Or have you joined me? One day I'll get that right. So, yeah, it's a little bit painful, my hand, but, you know, worse things happen to see. So I'm going to fill this in with Daffodil Delight. And because it's like an open, slightly open weave stamp, it's almost got the pink petals in it, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to pop a few in, like so. So if anybody hasn't seen a stamped one sheet wonder, the perfect artist for this design, she sort of came up with this style. I know a lot of people have done something similar more recently, but you need to follow Ruth Trice, Trice, and her YouTube channel, which is where she broadcasts most of the time, is Artful Stampin, no G at the end. I'm just deliberating. I think what I'm going to do is try the little sunflower. Oh, and I might put some across the corner as well. It's been a little while since I've done a one sheet wonder. So I'm trying to think when I did one last. Yeah, so it's just nice and light. So I'm just filling this in. You can see there. And I'm stamping second time. Let's pop some in here. So it just fills in, and again, because it's got the pink underneath, it's really forgiving to do it like this. Like so. So these are definitely not the colours. I mean, I love yellows and I do love blues. Funnily enough, the cardigan I'm wearing is Misty Moonlight for sure. Okay, need one in there that's a bit high strength. I'm just going to do this in Bumblebee. Like so. So you can see the difference. This is Bumblebee. This is Daffodil Delight. So what will happen when I finish, if you've not seen a one sheet wonder, is that I'm going to cut down here and cut across so that this becomes a card, this one and this, and you get this really lovely border on two or more sides. I'm actually going to add a little bit more in, and it's very good if you make a mistake. It's quite easy to cover up just by over stamping, and also if you sort of, you know, have a happy accident and stamp somewhere you shouldn't, it's quite easy to overcome that. I just want to put one across that corner there. Okay, I'm happy with that so far. So now I'm going to add some leaves and some texture. So in the Tasteful Touches set, we have this little almost like tile brickwork, and obviously the one that we've already used for the background. We also have a very detailed little feather. Okay, so I'm going to use a combination of those, and another little set of, no, this is a set of leaves that come with it, sorry, this one here. So I think what I'm going to do is cover these ink pads up to start with, add a little bit of green into that. Yes, Julia, double denim, definitely. Hi, Tracy. So what I'm going to do is bring this in and add some leaves. I might start with the small ones first, so I don't want to sort of overkill it. So I'll just peel that one off to start with. Pop this one on. So I am going to stick to jade, and I'm going to ink this one up. Just try it on our paper. Yep, that works. Now I might just stamp it off to start with. And the secret, as Ruth does it, is to make sure that the inside of the leaf is attached to a flower, so that it's not just floating in the middle of nowhere, if that makes any sense. And she has lots of different techniques for doing that. So very often she'll you can wipe off the edge so that you don't get the stalk, and you can start it a bit further in, like so. Or she will ink it up and leave the edge of the stamp off, so that she's only inking, if you can see that, the main part of the stamp, so that when you pop it in here, for example, which I want to stamp it off first, then it just looks like it's popping out from behind the flowers. So I'm going to do a few more of those. So I'm stamping this off because this is quite a bold green, and I don't want it to overtake everything else. So let's pop some in here, and not doing any masking, just literally just stamping in between. Take the edge of that one off, put one in there. Okay, how's that looking, folks? Hi Marie. Okay, let's go for the smaller leaves. Hi Sue. Sue has joined us. Okay. So I'm just now using the smaller set of leaves. And because these are smaller, I'm actually doing those full strength. Let's pop some in there. And I have a feeling I need some in there, really. There we go. It's definitely getting there. Okay, now I'm just going to add in a little bit of texture. So I've got these little, this little tile stamp. Thank you, Jeanette. And I actually want to use, I think, early espresso, because there's quite that mid yellow, mid green. So I'm just going to try early espresso. Now I know that my early espresso is very well used, so I don't have to stamp it off too much. Just going to do some very light stamping. Oops, like so. Like that. So it's just building a little bit of texture. So this could be, you know, almost looks like mosaic, doesn't it? There we go. And let's do one up at the top. Sorry for reaching over, everybody. Like so. Okay. Now I'm questioning whether I need to add the feather. I might add a little bit. I don't want it to take over. So pretty. That feather is so pretty. You could do one just with feathers actually, but I know not everybody likes feathers, so it's one of those things, isn't it? Very personal thing, I think. Oh, I missed that one. Let me just stamp it again. So rather than try and do it exactly in the right place, just moving it over a little bit. There we go. There we are. So these white spaces here are going to be for my sentiment. Okay. When I cut it up. And one of the things that you can do is, obviously, if you've got a stamp with little dots on, you can use that. I'm just looking to see what I've got with dots on. No, not that one. There we go. Might use these little dots from Waterfront. I could do with a smaller one really, but that will do for now. Just add a little bit of dot or dottage as it gets called. And I think I will do, I'm going to do the Misty Moonlight for that. There we go. So thank you if you're joining me live, and you'll see the little red live button. If you're joining me on catch up, thank you as well. My live times are pinned, are actually at the top of my Facebook page, so you can always check those. So Mondays and Wednesdays, that's 10 o'clock in the morning, and then Tuesdays and Fridays, that's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then Thursday nights, which I've just recently changed, is 7 o'clock in the evening. And all of these videos also go onto YouTube. Well, most of them, not every single one, but most of them go onto YouTube. So you can always check on there. Just hop to YouTube and look for Gemini Crafts. Okay, I think that's going to be it. So let me get my trimmer out and cut this down. So what I'm going to do to start with is move my stamps out of the way so they don't attach themselves to the trimmer, is I'm going to cut that at what would be the centre panel, like so. And then for each quarter I'm then going to choose which bit I want of that. So if I look at this one first, I can either put it in and cut that section, or I can put it in and cut the edge off. So let's just start it at 10.5. So that would be a normal full-sized section. And that seems to work quite well. So all I'm going to think about is which edge I might cut off. So I might cut this edge off because I've only got the very edges of those blues, like so. And this width normally is 13.85 if I'm going to add a layer onto a card. Now you can keep these pieces for the inside if you wish. And to cut this side, I think I'm going to, this will be, should be about 9.5. But if I cut, that's quite a lot of that off there. So I'm just going to cut that initially at 10. And then trim from the other side. So I'm not losing too much. Does that make sense? like so. Okay, so that's going to be my first panel. And the nice thing about this stamping at random, if you like, is that it gives you the option to decide which way round you want your finished piece of artwork. So for me, that one balances really nicely. But you could do it, equally it would work that way. So there's one. Going to do the same with this one. So this one I could actually cut at the top and have a longer sentiment going over there. So I think I'm going to do that. So this will be 9.5. Like so. So it's just coming in from the top. Okay. And then let's do the same treatment with these. Hi Linda, thanks for joining us this evening. So I quite like that area there, so I'm going to chop that at 9.5, which will give me a 0.5 centimetre border all the way around. And then let's have a look. I think this is quite heavy in this corner, isn't it? Let me have a look if I did it like that. Let's go for that. So it almost becomes a corner design, like so. And then the final one of the 4, this one here. Let's have a look and see if I did it this way. So all I'm doing is popping this down and then just sort of manually looking at that area. And I am going to do it like that. And yeah, like that. So it just brings in a little in the corner, like so. There we go. So for those of you that have joined me after the start, the colours that I've used are some of the new in colours. And this is Misty Moonlight, which is that lovely blue. I've used Daffodil Delight. The darker one here is Bumblebee, if you can see that one there. I've used Petal Pink as the background, which I stamped first. And then a little bit of well-worn Early Espresso for the feather and this little sort of checkerboard design. Okay, so let's just take each of those in turn and make those into a card. So I have a series of cards I can use for my base. So for example, oh, I need to cut that one down a bit. I've got some Early Espresso layers. So that would be one option, because that really picks out the yellow, doesn't it, the bumblebee. Or I could take it to the blue. No, I definitely think that is a better combination. Let me trim this edge down. I obviously wasn't concentrating on that one. And I do apologise, I've got my light on because it was quite dull. I am in the window, but Okay, so that is going to fit still a little bit narrow, isn't it? I think I cut a few of those espresso layers a little bit too short, so I might need to trim all of them when I come to it. It's amazing what a difference that just that few millimeters can make on a mat. That's better. Okay, so that is going to go onto there, and I'm going to add a sentiment. Now, I had in mind this sentiment from Rooted in Nature, which was Thinking of You. But I wonder if I might be better off with a longer one from here, from Tasteful Touches. I'm wondering if The Good Things in Life Are Better With You. That would fit in there really nicely. And I think Thinking of You will fit on another one. So, unless anybody disagrees, which we're allowed to. Sorry, this one hasn't got a index sticker on it. I'm sure that is straight, nearly. So I'm just looking sort of at the bottom of the line of text. Try not to look at the stamp itself. So I'm just wondering whether I do that in Early Espresso or Misty Moonlight. So that's my choice of sentiment colours. Misty Moonlight or Early Espresso. I'm wondering, oops, what you think. My temptation, my go-to would be Early Espresso because it's picking up that layer behind. But I'm wondering if I need to pick up the blue. Alternatively, I could put a blue layer behind it. Misty Moonlight, Early Espresso. Oh, half and half. So this would be another option. Oh. It's about 50-50, maybe an erring on Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to do it Misty Moonlight, mainly because there's more ink in this than there is in my Early Espresso, so it'll be much a better contrast. Okay. Hello Molly and Moretta. So let me try this underneath here. Yep, I think you were right. Whoever went for Misty Moonlight, definitely the better choice. And it fits in there perfectly. There we go. Let me wipe that down. Both are good. Well done. Thanks, Marion. There we go. So there's our first one. Let's layer that up. Hi, Wendy. Lovely to see you. Haven't seen you on here for a little while. You've obviously been really busy. So I'm just going to use straight wet glue to layer these up. So my scribble of glue, as you know, all the way over, not too close to the edges and not too thick. Popping that on there, just holding it up until I know it's in the right place. There we go, and then that's going to go onto there. And I'm just going to use the same glue again. There we have it. So obviously that's opening the right way. Let's pop that down, and again I slide it in. And because you haven't got glue right the way to the edge, you've got time to sort of manoeuvre it a little bit. Okay, fold that along there, and there's our first card. Now we have got these strips, so what I could do is add a little strip on the inside. So I've got that one there with lots of blue on. I need to pick one that's quite long, that's obviously going to fit the card. It's a bit too short. That's a bit too short. So that one it is. I could cut that in half actually, so that it's not so thick. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut that in half so it's not so overpowering. And then it gives me another piece as well. Sorry, I'm just doing that off the camera. There we go. So I've got a slightly wider one and a slightly smaller one. Put that on there like that. Doesn't look very straight to me. No, it's not bad. Very slightly off maybe. So just use that strip to decorate the inside. Make sure I've got it the right way around. And you could put that right across the right at the base, so I like to have it a little way up, show a little bit of margin there. Okay, so that is card number one. Looks quite busy actually, but it still works. So I don't think for this one, because it is so busy, that I'm going to add any of these dots, because it's got quite a lot going on. But if I've got some on the others, then I will add those. So there's number one. Let's grab another one. So this one here, so this would work for the thinking of you, that's what I had in mind. And just take your time and work out which way round you want it. So I mean, these could go any way really. I think I'm favouring that. And so to keep everybody happy, I'll do that one in early espresso. Thank you, Jane. Now I really must re-ink this. As you can see, it's very, very light. So you can tell how old this stamp is because it's still on wood. But apart from the fact I can't use it in the Stamparatus, I'm not going to buy the set again, just for that. Sorry, I've got writing on my hands here. This is the weights of 2 parcels that I sent today. Because my printer is upstairs. and my weighing scales for the postage are downstairs, so I weigh them and then go upstairs. So I had one parcel that was 550 grams and then one parcel that was 5.74 kilos. Okay, right, let's layer that up, and I think you might just use, could just use that, or do that but layer it onto a white card, I think. Find a white card. This one will do. So this is a white card folded. Yes, the one thing that is good about wooden stamps is you can just literally pick them and go, can't you? And they're good for children's crafting, I find, or very beginners crafting. So I think I'm going to cut this piece down and have it on the blue, on the white, if everybody's happy with that. Sorry for cutting the layers off camera. I could bring it down, but then it's just more things to sort of focus in and out of, isn't it? So I'm thinking of that. That work for everybody? So, glue. If you have problems with your glue drying up, as a lot of my people seem to do in class, the secret is always to put the top on, okay? Because in the top there is almost like, it was like a pin, but you can't really see it from here, and that will ensure that the entrance to the glue is kept clear. If you leave it with the top off for any length of time, obviously the glue dries fairly quickly and then it sort of forms a seal, which is quite easy to pull off. You can also keep it tipped up. You don't want to do that if you've got a brand new one though, because when you open it the glue will go everywhere. So just keep putting the top on. It only takes a minute to, well, not even a minute, it's only 10 seconds to do, if that, but it saves you a lot of hassle. And if it is new, then you can keep it on its side as well, because the temptation is to do that, which is designed to stand up like that, but then what happens is the glue drains down from the top. So if you've only got, say, half the glue left or a quarter of the glue left, it all works its way back down. So when you take the glue ready, you've got to wait for it to get back again. So if in doubt, leave it on its side. That would be my top tip for today. And then you shouldn't have any issues with it stopping, she says. That would be really funny, wouldn't it? Okay, here we go. Hello, Sandy. That's nice of you to join us this evening, Sandy. There we go. Let's pop that on there. So make sure your hands are clean. If you are wiping it down, make sure your hands are clean. Alternatively, make sure your table is clean and then push it from the back. Okay, and then you'll know it will be nice and clear. So that's our second one. And then we've got this one here, so that's got a really nice gap in there, hasn't it? So I'm thinking I might do another thinking of you in there. Let's just see if it sits better any other way. It would work there. Something different. I tend to favour bottom heavy, if you know what I mean, rather than top heavy. Yes. Let's do this one in the blue Misty Moonlight. Let me just clean that stamp off. Really, because my early espresso is a bit too pale. And obviously for these you can decorate the envelopes and the insides as well. Yes, that's the wrong colour. Yeah, the Tombow tap. Very true. I don't like to see people struggle with it when it's, you know, quite a straightforward thing to do. Okay. Let's rotate this round a little bit so it's well inked. I'm just bringing this down so I can see it a little bit better. And it does sit a little bit to the right, doesn't it? So a bit high, so I'm going to just tilt it slightly down. Like so. There we go. In the blue. And I might layer this on blue and then Bumblebee. Now I've got that bit left over. What do you think? That one? And that? There's a lot of blue. Hello Fiona. Hi Wendy, you've gone and come back again. Well, perhaps you didn't go at all. Or maybe that would be better. I feel that's a lot of blue in there. I think that would be better. I'm going to trim this one down very slightly though. Oh, so one thing I wanted to show you, for those of you who've got the new trimmer, if you find after a while that it is sort of grating very slightly as it goes up and down, this is still, this is really clear because I've just cleaned it today, but if you hear it grating, then usually what that means is you've got some debris stuck in that channel. And if you can see that channel in there. So there's a couple of things you can do. The simplest thing to do is take a piece of card, just scrap card, and put it in the channel and then draw that down like so. And what that will do is it will move any debris down to the bottom, and then you can sort of flick it out. If I've got one. So this one I haven't cleaned. Let me just show you on this one here. So if I move this up and down, and you can hear that, it's I'm not sure how much you will hear of that. Let me use a piece of white card and then show you if there's any debris coming out. So just do this every so often, or if you feel like it's not cutting as well as it was. So I'm just running a piece of white card along that channel. Okay, oh, that's still quite clean as well. I've obviously done this one relatively recently. but that is a good way just to clean that channel out. Like so. You can also use the tip of your scissors if you're very gentle and do it like that. Okay, but you don't want to put any pressure if you do that, because you don't want to cut into this at all. And the other thing is, if you have an alcohol wipe or an alcohol swab, is to with the tip of your scissors is to run it along there to get rid of, usually what happens is you cut something that's got glue on it and it gets stuck in here, because obviously the glue helps it stick in. And then obviously just check, not with your fingers though, check there's no paper stuck in your blade. Right, what was I doing? Just cutting this one down, wasn't I? After all that. So just a couple of things to do if you are having any issues with it cutting, just not being as smooth. And remember, you don't need to push down on this new trimmer. You just need to slide it up or down. You don't need to apply any pressure. Okay. There we are. So that's a better border in my opinion. Like so. So let's just mount that up in exactly the same way. A cocktail stick, yeah, that's a good one. Hi Trudy, thanks for joining us. Yeah, cocktail stick is also a good, really good one. You want something that's fine enough to go in the channel, but not sharp that you're going to cut into the channel. Otherwise you could make it a bit more difficult for yourself. In the old trimmers, the channel used to come out, which was useful, but if you weren't careful, it was very easy to lose. If you were moving around a lot, if you were just at home with it, it's fine. So glue on the back of there, like so. Let's do that on the right side. There we go. Fold that over, like that. Just make sure it's pushed down. And then if I wanted to again, and I've got the strip of that long strip, I could pop that on the inside. You could also put it on, obviously on the side there if you've got a small piece. Put it right at the bottom. That's what I'm going to do with this one. So if I have a small piece, I just use exactly the same method for the glue. Sorry, it's going everywhere today. So just a squeeze of glue, run it along. Okay, and that's all you need. You don't want to go mad, because this glue does stick really, really well. Okay, so this one I'm going to put right at the bottom. So I'm just going to start it on the left hand side, bring it down, and I know that I've cut my piece down, so I know that that will fit on there, and then just trim that tiny little bit off, look, there. There we go. Card number 3. And then finally we've got this one here. Let's have a look and see which way this is going to go. And if you get to this point and you think, oh, I don't like this gap, you can obviously just go back in and add a little bit more detail. So if, for example, I didn't like this gap here, I could just get my leaf stamp, for example, and my jade green, just jade, and then just use that to fill in afterwards. Just going to do those separately like that. So if you do, when you come to the last piece, or even any of the other pieces, if you think, oh, it's a little bit missing, then by all means just do a bit of infill if you want. And I might do the sentiment in jade for this one. So I quite like it this way because of these flowers. There's two sort of upright. So I wonder if my thinking of you will fit in, which I think it will in there. So I'm going to do that in the jade. So just inking that up. Just test it out again. That's a lovely colour like that, isn't it? And this will pick up the green of those leaves. Just going to move it down so it's a bit closer to me, sorry. Like so. There we go. Voila. Okay. And I think that has to go onto jade, doesn't it, really? There's my jade card. Just put that on there. And I have, yeah, a bit of espresso. So I'm just going to trim this down a little bit more like I had to with the others. Just do that here. Literally a few millimeters, that is it. There we go. And that one on there. Perfect. So it's a really nice set, this one, and it is the feature of our class in a box this month. That is Tasteful Touches. So if you're interested in my class in a box, which is basically sent to you by post and includes everything you need to make a whole set of cards, you can opt to buy the stamp set as well if you haven't already got it, or you can use your own choice of stamp sets. And this month we've got 7 designs of cards and a bonus project as well. And you have enough product in your kit to make more than that. It includes 24 pieces of designer paper as well. And all of that for just £20 to your door. So if you're interested in that and you're in the UK, then let me know. Just comment and I can send you the information. Booking for that closes on Sunday, so it's open for a week, was about 10 days, and then booking closes after that. I think I'm going to add some of these gems on here, just because I can. So I can't quite decide. I think I might go for the yellow bumblebee. Obviously it matches the green, just jade, but that'd be quite a lot of green. I could pick up the misty moonlight, but I quite like picking up that bumblebee. Unless anybody else has any preference. Hello, Jeanette. Hi Tracy, hi Jane. Thank you all for joining me. Oh, Marion's gone, that's fine. Bless her. Oh, and hi Julie. So what colour embellishments do we think? Do we think Bumblebee? So these are the in colours. Let me put those there. I think the jade is too much. It'll be all jade. So I'm thinking Bumblebee or Misty Moonlight. Bumblebee says Moretta. That is good. Kim says Bumblebee. Bumblebee is then, guys. Yep, everybody's going for Bumblebee so far. So sorry if you wanted anything else. This is only half a pack of the dots, in case you're wondering. This is for my in colour paper share. So you get some of the card, you get the matching papers, the embellishments and the ribbon as well. And that's open for bookings as well. There we go. Do nicely. So they all ended up landscape after all that. They do sometimes, and then sometimes they go the other way. Maybe I need to start my sheet of paper in portrait next time. Maybe I'll get a different effect. Anyway, let me clear this out of the way and show you the cards. So if you like this style, definitely worth seeing Ruth at Artful Stamping. She usually goes live most days, but you can catch her videos on YouTube. Just want to move this paper out of the way so that you can see a bit better. So this is the stamp set we've used, Tasteful Touches, and I've used some of the, well, I've used that sentiment, but we've used the feather. I actually didn't use this one in the end. Used that, that one in the petal pink, obviously the main flower, and we used the feather. And this little one here, and it looks like diamonds if you turn it on its side, as you can see there. It actually looks like diamonds. So that is the stamp set itself. And then these are our other three designs. So obviously all very similar. I've changed the background, I've changed the layer of the card. This one's on Whisper White. And then this one is on Bumblebee as well. So I'm hoping you can see those okay. Let's make sure it pops up on the screen. And this one I've got the layer underneath. And I also did that on this one here. So use the strips that you cut off. Make sure you're using those as well. There we go. Is that showing the screen all right? Looks like it does. So, thank you so much for joining me today for my evening session. My class tomorrow, Friday, is my Friday Fun for beginners. So it's a simpler level of card making or crafting. So we will be using the Jar of Love design, but I'm going to be using the card bases that you can purchase sort of ready to go, and some of the papers, the Memories and More cards as well, that you can use ready to go. So some quick card making, but perfect for beginners, and there'll be a kit that I'll put together that if anybody's new and wants to have a go, or you want to send a pack to somebody, then that's quite an inexpensive way to get them up and running. So, thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Kim. Thank you all for joining me. Oh, it's gone out of focus. I hate it when it does that. Let me just see if it'll come back into focus. So, yeah, thank you for joining me this evening. Really appreciate your company. And look after yourselves. Take care, won't you? Stay safe. And I do hope you can keep crafting. Thank you for your lovely comments. Thank you, Jane, Jeanette, Kim, Molly, Tracy, Fiona, Linda, Julie. I hope I've got most people that are left with me. I'll have to scroll down and see if anybody else has snuck in. Jane may be still there. It's difficult to tell. It doesn't always tell me when people have disappeared. So Marion's gone, I think. So I do apologise if you're still here and I haven't said thank you. Then I do apologise. Hope to see some of you perhaps tomorrow. As I say, it is a beginner's crafting session tomorrow, and then back as normal on Monday. I will be doing a run through of the cards for Class in a Box. I'll probably do that tomorrow, may do that in the morning, so watch out for that if you're interested in that. Thank you so much again. Take care, everybody. Lovely to have you join me this evening. I appreciate that. Cheerio. Bye bye.